The unicorn, a creature that is known to be a myth. We've been hearing about them ever since we was kids. You know, the horse with the goddamn horn. They fart rainbows. Yes, that is a unicorn, but that's not really the one I'm talking about. I don't even know why I started out like this. I'm talking about the unicorns that hoop. The one that the future is terrified of. And you know, for good reason. They don't really look like real human beings, and I guess that's fitting, cause they're unicorns. Google defines them as pretty much 7-foot fucks that play like guards. Like literally IRL 2K19 stretch forwards. We have hit a crazy and interesting time in the evolution of basketball, and it all kind of just stems from the new era of positionless basketball. It is completely normal now to see a forward or honestly just a tall player dominate the ball most of the game. You've been seeing it with Bron, see it with Luka, Cade, even Jokic. Players are getting so good at other skills. If you're really tough at it, bro, then do it. Height is no longer a restriction, and me personally, I'm very intrigued, but at the same time pretty fucking scared, because then what happens when the 7-footers hear about, oh damn. Unicorns are the peak product of this new era's positionless basketball. Like I said, they're literally 7-foot guards, taking you off the dribble, shooting from deep. It's actually insane what people are starting to be able to do at their height. Guys like Kevin Durant, Bol, Chet Holmgren, Thon Maker, and then there's the best prospect of all time in any sport, Victor Wembanyama. And going into this new 2024 season, I feel like this is the most important year for this type of player. And you know, let's talk about why. But before that, let me have a conversation with you real quick. You know, I fuck with you. You're not that bad of a guy, but you have me looking like a goddamn fucking buffoon out there. 600 followers, 600 Discord members, 28,000 subscribers. I ain't gonna lie, that's some fake shit. Give me the 5K on both. Within 10 days, I will do whatever the top comment says for a video. Unless it's weird or like sus. And you know, we might as well just throw in like 5,000 likes on this video too, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, I think so far this is easily the most important year for the unicorns. I feel like there's a lot of expectation coming from these players. Cause I mean, when you think about the original unicorn, who do you think of? A 7-footer that kind of moves like a guard, nice handle, can shoot over the top of pretty much anybody who's guarding him. To me, I ain't gonna lie, this is a pretty easy answer. Kevin Durant. There's nobody else I think you could name for real. You know, I've heard the argument for Rashad Lewis. I'd still go KD because he pretty much paved the way. All the unicorns talk about that nigga like he's their god. And I mean, they really wouldn't be wrong. He's the Unicorn Godfather. That's why KD was such a crazy player to watch. In an era where if you're 7 foot and you're not posted up on the block, nobody gave an absolute damn about what you were doing. If you were 7 feet tall catching the ball at the top of the key, there might as well be a fucking ghost instead of you. So you know, when this skinny 7-footer came in, forget about catching the ball at the top of the key. He's pulling up like 2 feet away from the shit. And then you know, we started watching one of the best scorers of all time unfold. It's just not much you could do with somebody of that size shooting that well. Hand in his face? It's not even really in his face. He's 7 foot. Make him put the ball on the ground? That's honestly a worse option, like dignity wise. Long story short, the center who thinks he's a guard and is as good as a guard while still physically being a center, well, a player like this just seemed imaginary. We only had one in Kevin Durant, and that one was a demigod. Couldn't fuck with the nigga. So heading to an era that's supposed to be filled with these Kevin Durant type players, that's spooky, man, that's scary hours. But at the same time, they didn't just pop up in 2023 and KD was the only unicorn in the past like 15 years. We've gotten a fair share of sightings of like tall ass guards. Why haven't any of them, you know, made any sort of type of noise ever besides the hype around their name? Unicorns just haven't been able to get it done. Up until this year, nobody has looked at these players as a real threat in the league. In high school, you know, they're scary. In college, you know, they're kind of scary. But it really has not translated in the NBA. Whether it's because they're deciding to take on a smaller role, maybe they're just not that fucking good, or maybe they are that good, ready for a role, but just keep getting injured. All of these things could be the case. I don't really care the reason. At the end of the day, it's not getting done. And I'm not saying these niggas gotta be 13-time All-Star, 1 MVP, 2 Finals MVP Kevin Durant, but can you be a legitimate threat on the court using the skills that got you your hype? Just going off of what's happening right now, I'm not too sure. I would say injury and opportunity is probably the biggest reason why they keep failing. It's hard to be that mobile at 7 feet and be healthy. I'm pretty sure Jimmy High Roller had like a whole video about it. Yeah, he did. The hearth. What the fuck was that? The harsh truth about Victor Wembanyama. And in the video, he pretty much touched on like how injuries just keep affecting these unicorn type players. And, you know, just keeping that in mind, history is not really on their side. These guys haven't been able to establish their presence in the NBA for real. And, you know, it's early. Not saying it's an impossibility or anything. Literally just telling you what is happening. Now, I'll say you can make an argument on who is actually a unicorn. Like, Embiid doesn't really get brought into this conversation, but by definition, he honestly is one to me. He takes step backs. It's fluent. He could shoot. He's just big as hell. And then I could see why you'd maybe say Jokic, but when I think of unicorn, I think of somebody who like really got the ball on his string. And the reason why Embiid's a little different to me, he grew his game into becoming a unicorn, adapted to the new NBA, and you know, now he's thriving. Like I said, to me, he's definitely a unicorn, but I'm more so talking about the guys coming into the league as that. The ones who are getting compared to KD off rip, just because, you know, their play style, the way they dribble, their shot selection. Unlike Embiid, they're not ever really looking to post up. And to make a long story short, these players have not been doing what we fear most, dominating basketball. Again, I know it's early, but when are we gonna stop saying that? When are we gonna have a conversation about the logistics of a unicorn and how they age? Well, I think we should be having that conversation right now, and let's talk about it for this season. This next 23 to 24 NBA season is by far the most important for these type of players. The spotlight, the eyes, whatever you want to call it, they're on the unicorns more than ever. Just to talk about the most obvious elephant in the room, Victor Wembanyama. I don't even have to go into depth about how hype that nigga name is right now. And the reason why his name is so hype, guess why? Take a wild guess. I'll give you a drum roll and all. About it, because he's fucking 7'5" and plays like he's 6'2". He is an actual creative player, and not like the My Career one where you have restrictions. Not like where you can actually create whatever fucking player you want. Just an absolute insane talent, and everybody's eyes is on this unicorn. Let's talk about Chet. This is a player a lot of people have winning Rookie of the Year over Victor Wembanyama. Another nice shooting 7-footer who's supposed to have a decent handle. I know y'all remember him crossing over Curry. With him sitting out for the whole year and Victor now being in the league, eyes are on him. Shit, let's talk about Bo. Now, I'm not really a heavy follower of Bo, not gonna lie. I kind of just have to go off what other people are saying for the most part, and like what I kind of see, because like I said, I'm just not that big of a follower of Bo. But I do remember how everybody was slurping him in high school and college, and a lot of people are starting to give up on him. Now, Bo's situation is a little weird, I'll say. Like, Denver wasn't really using him. Same with Orlando, I'm pretty sure. But at the same time, is there probably not a reason for that? Now that he's on a team that actually wants to win a championship, is trying to contend, and whose role players honestly aren't that crazy, is Bo's name gonna finally be brought up? Can he contribute to winning basketball? I honestly have no idea how minutes are working, but if he's getting player time, bro, eyes will be on him. I'm telling y'all, bro, this is the most important season for these niggas. The excuses are gonna quiet down and expectations are gonna be loud. Fans are expecting a big season from these type of players. I feel like regardless of how this year goes, we're gonna have a serious conversation about unicorns. We're either gonna be talking about how scary they are or how not scary they are. How they might have just been better off as myths. And once again, for the people who are half hearing this video, I'm not saying they gotta be all-time greats. I'm not saying they gotta be all-stars. But this season, they have to produce a level of production that'll make me go like, okay, I see the potential, I see the hype. And if I had to make a prediction on, you know, how I think it's gonna go this season, do I think the unicorns pull through? I'ma have to go yes. I'm a believer in these unicorns, man. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know if I think they're gonna be these like crazy ass Kevin Durant demigods, but I think they will be extremely productive. I think that they'll prove their worth. These guys are just a crazy different type of talent. Honestly, it should be harder for them to suck. I'm a Wembanyama believer. I think he's gonna be pretty solid his first year and show at the least that he's meant to be here. And for Chet, we're gonna talk about it later, but it's looking like he made OKC scary. There's a few ball-dominant players on that team, so I don't imagine that he'll be dribbling up the court, you know what I'm saying, pulling out his Steph Curry whoop-to-whoop, then pulling from half court. But I think he's gonna be a good-ass player. I think these unicorns are gonna clutch. The only part about it that they can't really control to a certain extent is the injuries, man. They're bound to happen. I don't wish it on nobody, obviously, but just going off of what usually happens with these type of players, they get injured. I really hope they're able to stay healthy this year, because this is a pivotal moment in basketball. It's just another reason I'm very excited for this season. The expectations just around the league in general, for all types of teams and players, I'm salivating out the mouth just thinking about it. And you know what? Let's say I'm wrong. The unicorns sadly do not clutch this season. Was a good effort, but ended up being an L. It doesn't really matter, because y'all gotta realize they ain't disappearing after Chet and Victor. Have y'all seen this nigga Cooper Flag? Or the Matis dude? I don't know how to say his name. Then there's this other overseas guy who looks exactly like Victor. All these top prospects, bro, they're unicorns. It's the future, and it might not come this this season. I think it will, but if it doesn't, it'll be here eventually. And that is why this season is the most important for these mythical creatures. I hope they tee up, I hope they pull through, and I hope y'all like the video. Please get me to 5K on Instagram. 5K, when y'all gonna start teaming me up on Instagram? The bitch ain't even know that I do YouTube, but she been a fan. Step too close and that bitch gon' blam. I'ma hit your bitch, then blick your mans. I hope this switch don't jam, cause I'll be damned to be in that jam. Fuck what you saying, nigga, you not my friend. I feel peaceful in my core with a fat ass blood in my hand. I'm too decent at this shit, I guess I'll give it a chance. I'm the man, I could turn your broke ass to 100 grand.